Afternoon folks, Mark here, and welcome to the sofa. I'm joined again today by Anact, Wrath of Suns, to talk about how her combat patrol is shaping up. Anact, it's been a while since you were last on. How are you feeling about the progress so far? You've got a troops and an elite unit. That's a legal force now, right? I'll get on with the rest.
Right, where did we get to? In the last video, I picked up the partly done score pack and got them converted and painted up to match the immortals I'd done earlier. I'd also picked up the hex mark way back, but kind of forgotten about it, which only leaves him and the Ophidian destroyers to build, convert, and paint. They weren't too bad to put together, except for confusingly identical joins on either end of one of the tailpieces, but I did have to clip away a bunch of scenery parts that would attach them to the bases. Once they were glued and cured, I drilled wires into their tails to give me something to hold while I painted, although on one I got a little carried away. I cut through a few of the vertebrae, drilled them out, and fed the wire through so I could put a kink in the tail, covering it in rock and sand as if it's been concreted in a wonky angle. After a quick airbrush primer coat, I looked at the models again and realised something. They had long tails. That gave me an idea. They phase in and out of reality, so I could cut off some of the tails, paint parts of them black like the phase weapons, and save myself a bunch of effort. For once, I used my brain and cut the tails where it did minimum damage, so I could reuse those parts if I changed my mind later. In the meantime, I also assembled and primed this little guy, so I could get the 4 final models done together. While I was painting the rust, though, GW issued a points update and made my list 30 points cheaper. A sensible person would think, stuff it, and add an upgrade or something. I, of course, decided that it was a perfect time to add 2 more models to the list. Q2 plasmacytes, which were in my bits pile anyway, and wouldn't take too long to do. With that distraction out of the way, I could carry on painting, moving on to the metals before starting to paint the marble this time. I was getting tired of the whole project at this point, and a little sloppy in places as I rushed to finish. I tried to make sure that I did the marble properly, though. Variations in the rust and metals underneath would be hard to spot, but if they had big differences in the marble, it would be pretty obvious. No point giving up on it this far in, so I kept going just like all the other models with the marble, and then the cables. And then a few more cables. So many cables. Why did I put a hex mark in the list? A few centuries later, I was finally done with the basic painting and could turn to the black parts. The initial layers were straightforward enough, although I got the feeling they didn't match the original lot I did. Kind of inevitable on a long project, because you get more confident, or lazy, both are good, as you go along. Eventually, though, I had to do the last bit, and the one I was looking forward to least, the OSL. Not that the OSL bothered me, but the blend at the edge of the black tails had real potential for the pain in the neck award. They were the last bit of painting I had to do, though, so it wasn't like I had a choice. In the end, they weren't too bad once I thinned out the glaze colours a bit. And that meant I was finally done with the last of the painting.
No more. I give. I'm not good at army painting. I mean, I made my life worse by, doing marble on everything, and then Black 3.0, and Sculpted Lightning. That was a lot. But they do look kind of cool now that they're all together. So, let's take a moment to enjoy that before I have to start dealing with the basing.